Welcome to my Hebrew channel, Mila Baraika, and today we're looking at two places. These are smaller places just alongside the Jabbok River over in Transjordan. I'm going to be looking at them in relationship to what happens to them when Gideon comes by. Gideon's chasing the Midianite kings. And so Succoth, first one, actually was established by Jacob way back when he was traveling with his animals. He needed shade for the animals, so he put out Sukkoths. Sukkoths are shaded things that just cover. Even later on, a festival, one of the major festivals of the Jewish people, was established on the basis of this name, Sukkoth, and very much symbolic of the shade that the Lord provides over his people. Even to this day, the apartments in Jerusalem, if an apartment has a balcony where you can put your Sukkoth or your Sukkah and celebrate Sukkoth, then of course it's much more valuable. It's a nice place to put your shaded place. Those things can get very ornate. Lots of things decorating inside. They have to have a space open in the top so that you can see the stars. As you're camping outside, you're supposed to be able to see the stars go by when you're outside in your Sukkah, celebrating Sukkoth. Penuel, this was originally called Peniel, same place yet. Peniel means face of God, and this is where Jacob came face to face with God and fought with him the whole night, and then finally the Lord allowed him to win. But where's Jacob? Left that little encounter limping. And so if you come face to face with God, boom, watch out. It can get be a little hard on you, of course. So, and here, yeah, face to face with God means that you're looking in God in the face, and you're looking also, in case of Jacob, and when this happens to us too, when we look God in the face, we have to consider what His will is for our lives. So both of these towns have very symbolic names, and unfortunately, they did not live up to the symbolism of their names. So Sukkoth was not a good shade for Gideon. And Peniel, the people of Peniel, they didn't consider what it meant to look into the face of God. So yeah, and they suffered for it. So let's get on to the study. I have a little map here. Gideon came to the Jordan and he crossed over. Got over here to this is the little map is the Jordan River over here in the Jabbok, and the route that the kings first of all took, running down. The battle took place. The initial battle with the broken jars and torches and all that stuff took place here, close, right across from the Harod Spring, and then the flight path of these guys running. They got here. Apparently, the Midianite kings, a lot of them took off this way, but the kings themselves went up this route up here to Karkor, and then Karkor is where the last final battle took place in which they were captured. So Gideon came to the Jordan. He crossed over. He and the 300 men who were with him, exhausted and yet pursuing. Veyabo Gedeon HaYordena, and this is a directional hey. I looked this up. Blue Letter Bible has it right, calls it a directional hey. Bart Bible doesn't have it. It just calls it third feminine singular. It isn't so. It's a directional hey. Towards the Jordan, and came to the Jordan. HaYordena, that's the Jordan River here. Avor, he crossed. Hu, it. Shalosh Meod, Haish, and 300 of his men, the 300 men that were victorious over the Midianites over here in the valley of Herod. Asher, Ito, Afim, Rodfim. Now they were exhausted. Afim. We're going to see this word again. We're going to see this one as well. We'll see it in singular again as Gideon is the one that's pursuing the kings. So Ashirito was with him. Afim Rodfim. So he said to the men of Succoth. Now they get down to crossing at the river there at Adam, and cross to Succoth. And here it's Succoth. We've got a double C here because of the Dagish. Sukkoth are the booths that show the protection of God. Now, you'd say, okay, the men of Succoth, oh, we're here under the protection of God. And they said, well, no, they're scared of the Midianites. So he said to the men of Succoth, please give me loaves of bread to the people who follow me, for they are exhausted and pursuing after Zebah and Zalmunna, the kings of Midian. Now, they probably saw those kings heading right in front of them up the valley, up the Jabbok. Midianites, of course, always kind of looking for water because if they're traveling on camels, the camels, well, they can go a long ways without water, but if you have animals, you do want to give them water. So, Vayomer le'anshe Succoth, he said to the men of Succoth, Tenu na, please give. This is rogatory. No, it's a petition. Petition na. Please say as Hosanna, ma, muna. This is tenu na. Tenu na. Give, please give. Kekarot, slices or sliced bread. I guess they had sliced bread in those days. Loaves, kekarot, loaves of lechem. Lechem is a beautiful segole, double segol, accenting still at the top here. And not a strong enough accent to push this segol into a kametz, but it's still a good segol here. Lechem. Always watch for the chet here. It's very easy to confuse this one to them. Like this word and this word are very easy to confuse. So just watch for the chet. Lechem la'am, to the people. Asher bereglech. Now those who are under my foot, in other words, it's his authority. Okay, those who are with me underfoot. If you say it that way in English, it really isn't the right sense of what's happening here. They're not underfoot, they're under his authority. So, under my authority, under my power. Ki afaim, because they're tired, they're exhausted. You can understand it. Wow, it's been a big battle over there in the valley, and now they're running down the length of the Jordan and up to Jabbok, and so they're very tired. They. Vanochi rodef, and I am following, I'm chasing. We've seen rodefim in the previous verse in the plural. Now we see it in the singular here. Rodef, I am chasing. Okay, very very common word, very well understood word. And I rodef, I am chasing. Achare, after. I'm chasing Zebah. Okay, Zebah is one of the kings, and Zalmunna. Zebah was Mr. Seed, and Zalmunna shade, not having shade. Okay, Shalmunna. Malche Midian, the kings of Midian. They're the nomads, the ones that run all over the place with their animals, and apparently cause trouble a lot of times. The interesting thing about when the people were in Exodus, sometimes they would get along with the Midianites, and sometimes they certainly didn't. So this, of course, is the time when they didn't. Now the officials of Succoth said, are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna already in your hand, that we should give bread to your army? Now it's interesting in that we do have a difference here in the English translation, they say hand and then hand. But the kaf is actually the palm of the hand, or the palms of the hand. It's when you're capturing enemy people, you strip the palms off the hand to prove that you actually captured these people. And it's kind of a tough way to describe. Yeah, boy, you really rip their palms off when you've captured them. So, Vayomer Share, this is officials. Sar is a prince or a leader, officials or government officials of the Succoth. Hakaf, the palm of the hand. Have you already got a hold of those palms? In other words, have you already stripped the power off of these guys? Zebah v'Zalmunna, ata, already. Beyadicha. Now, a kaf, this will go back to the original hieroglyphic-based meaning of this kaf, the palm of the hand, and this one's yadicha. This is the hand that is stretched out, including the arm now, and this is very much symbolic of the power. Okay, are they already in your power? And translations that work on a little more dynamic level will have this as power. Okay, and in your arm, under your arm, under your power, under your hand. Ki niten le jebotcha lachem. Okay, that we, okay, ki niten to be giving, le shebachcha to your army, lachem. And this is bread again. You see it from the chat. This time the siluk bumped up the force of this syllable enough, or this vowel enough, to move it into combat's territory. So lachem. Okay, we see previously we saw it nice clean Succoth. Here it's lachem. Okay, that give to them bread, food. And so Gideon said, well then, when Jehovah has given Zebah and Zalmunna into my hand, I will flail your flesh with the thorns of the wilderness and with briars. Lachen, certainly. Okay, this is a ken. This is yes, it is so. Okay, and that is so. Okay, lachen. Well then, batet. Okay, betet. This is the reduced. It's funny, before I never saw it much, but now I see it all the time. You take Natan to give. The nun has gone off in the fetuses. The first nun, the last nun has gone off in Pokepe. You're left with the base root of Tau. Okay, learn this verb just on the base root, just right there. Although if you want to learn it just as a construct infinitive, fine, that's good too. But here, betet, in giving. Okay, so you'll have letet or betet. Here it's betet. Okay, this is in to give. Yehovah, again, that Jehovah gives. It's Zebah, the king. It's Zalmunna, also next guy, Zalmunna. V'yadi, in my hand, darshti, then I will dress you out. Darshti, I will come back and I will flail you. Darshti, okay? Darshti. This is in first person suffix verb here. Then I will flail it. Bazarchem. Bazarchem. The root is the bashar. Okay, bashar. I think it's kamas when you see it in the dictionary. Basharchem, your flesh. It's kotse with the thorns, and then this is one place where your cough, which is a string with a knot on it, becomes a pin or a thorn. Okay. Yeah, thorn. Okay, so just think of it as a thorn here. Bekoshe, with the thorns. Hamidbar, of the desert. Ve'et ha-bar konim. This is a tev kametz, which means it's pronounced as an O. Habar konim, and with briars. Basically, very much parallel here of what these two things are. Pointy, very sharp things, things that grow on cactus plants, and there you very sharp things to beat people up with. And from there he went up to Penuel and spoke to them in the same way, same words, kazot. And the men of Penuel answered him as the men of Succoth had answered him. Same answer, basically the same message, same scenario, same thing happening. Although the results are a little bit different as in terms of what the punishment was. But yeah, Al, and then from there it went up. Al is going on up, and it is very true. You're going up the Jabbok River, up the Jabbok River Valley, and you go first of all from Succoth, which is close to the Jordan, and then you go up Penuel a little bit further up the way, still on the north side of the Jabbok. But Ya'al, Misham from there, Penuel. Okay? This is the face of God. This is face of God too. Now, when this was first established as a town, it was called Peniel. That was the face of God before me. So it's a singular in the middle here. But Penuel, now it's become much more reflexive and also bumps it up a little bit to us. Okay, the face of God before us, new. Okay, Penuel. So there's a change been here from Yod to Surik. Okay, Peniel to Penuel. Okay, Penuel, In translations, it's good to leave the first one the way it was and leave the second one the same way it's done. I don't really like translators harmonizing these and putting them in as the same name. No, it's better just to leave each place called what it was when it was used that way. Okay. Penuel, Ve'yedavar, and he spoke Elohim to them, Kesot, okay, Kasot as the same way. Anu, and then they answered Otot to him, Anshe Penuel, men of Penuel, Kesher, just as Anu has it answered, Anshe Succoth. And these are very much parallel words right here. Anshe Penuel, Anshe Succoth. So the men of Penuel, the men of Succoth, same message came through from those guys. And so he said to the men of Penuel, when I come back, and it's interesting in that there's apparently a migdal right here, okay, which if you take the word Penuel, Penuel is the face of God. And so these people had built a tower up on the top, on the high ground, and to them it was sort of like the face of God. Okay, so it was a symbol of the face of God looking over them. I mean, they had, and then they were somewhat protected. In other words, this tower provided. Towers, of course, are built for vigilance and for protection. So they felt protected somewhat by this tower. Well, Gideon says, I'm coming back. Well, when I'm done, this tower is coming down. So now here's, I have two translations here, and there's a reason for that. The first one's what I call quick and easy, and the most translators just jump into it and they don't give it much thought. But there's a better way of looking at it. So that's why I have the second translation right here. And then Vayomer, and he said, Gam Anshe, also to the men of Penuel, Lemor, saying, Beshuvi, and when I return, Beshalom. Now, the first, I'd say, a quick and easy, quick and easy. A lot of translators do this. Just what's quick and easy, what's you can't fight with the whole thing, but not quite exactly right. He's not going to come back peaceably. Okay. Shalom, okay, the word is peace, okay? Everybody knows that word is peace. But the reason there is peace is that things are in order for peace to exist. And so when you take this as a verb, shalom, that is repaying correctly, putting it in order, paying the right salary, paying the right thing, making things correctly. So, and that's why the second translation, which is, I'll just say it's my translation. I looked it up, and almost all translations just simply go with peace. It really isn't peace. It is, he's going to set things straight. Okay. When I come again, well rewarded. When I come back, everything's straightened out. Etosh, okay. It's almost etosh, okay. English almost for I'll toss it. Okay, I'll toss this tower down. Okay. Etosh et migdal. Migdal is the noun form of gadol. Gadol is big, tall. Migdal. Incidentally, in the New Testament, Mary Magdalena is derived from this same word here. Okay, Migdal. The tower that was there, the towers that were alongside the shore of Galilee. So, Hamigdal Hazeh, I will tear down this tower, this one right here we're looking at now. When I come back, goodbye tower. And then he said, okay, here I have put this back onto the map just to sort of show it was the same word as same verse as the previous one again, Vayomer. Gam Anshe Penuel Lemor Bashavi, when I return, Bashalom, and well rewarded, et otse, et tos, et hamigdal hazeh. I will smash down this tower. So we see the routing here. He's come on down the Jordan Valley, crossed over at a place called Adam, a very key crossing even to this day. All the commercial travel that trucks loaded with vegetables and stuff cross over here at Adam. and from between Jordan and Israel here. But here it's Succoth and then Penuel, and up the valley a little bit, and then up to Karkor. So that's this is where the tower was that overlooks the Jabbok. Now Zeba and Zalmunna were in Karkor with their army, about 15,000 men. Whoo! Just remember, what was it? 300, and so it's still the ratio is still, wow. But 120,000 had already fallen. Okay, so now when you see this kind of how you say it, ratio, or this kind of huge difference in numbers, you have to understand you are recognizing that this battle is of the Lord. I mean, only the Lord can do this. And we see it time and time again that a smaller group of people who are in the Lord's will can clobber a much larger group of people who are outside of God's will. Why the battle is the Lord's. And this is very much why we see such an enormous difference between the number of people on the one side and the other. It's not a balanced battle at all. The only reason it's not a balanced battle is because Jehovah is running this battle. It's a rout. People are rushing off in panic, and so basically they're their own worst enemy as they're running away. So now Zeba and Zalmunna were in Karkor with their army, about 15,000 men, all of who were left of the army of the people of the east, for there had fallen 120,000 men who drew the sword. Zeba Zalmunna be Karkor. It's a place up the Jabbok and a little bit further south again. Now heading up into the high country, okay, where apparently the Midianites is sort of, oh boy, being down in the valley is a bad place. Let's get up into the desert places. Higher ground means we're going to feel a little bit more safer, okay? Bekarkor, and Machanechem, and their campment, their army, Imam, with them, okay, and the camp of the army with them. Okay, Ha-Meshet, this is Ha-Meshet Asher, Elef. Okay, so you got 5 and 10 and 1,000. Okay, so this is 15,000 men right here. Ha-Meshet Asher, Elef, 1,000. So 15,000 men. Kol Ha Notirot, those who were left, like Yeter, this is Notarim, okay, those who are left over. I mean, these are the stragglers, these are the survivors, okay. Notarim, Mekol Hamachane, Bnei Kedem, from all the camp of the east, Hanofalim, the ones that had fallen, okay, Nofalim, the ones who had, fallen, Nofel, and Numpel Lamed is to fall. Incidentally, the word Nephilim it's more causative of this word, those who cause other peoples to fall. Okay, so Hanaphalim, the fallen ones. Mea Asherim Elef. Okay, this is 120,000. Okay, 120,000. It's quite a difference here. Almost just about a little more than 12% of what was originally there. Okay. Meach Asherim Elef Ish, men, Shalaf Herav, the ones who could yank out a sword, Harif. This incidentally is usually a segolate as well. Well, it still is a segolate because of this segolate, but it's usually a double segolate. But this one bumped up to a comments because of the Siduk here. So Ish Shalaf. Sholef Heraf, those who could draw this, those who are fit for battle. Okay, when you can draw a sword, you're fit for battle. Okay, Shalaf. This same verb is used in Ruth when the men are pulling the grain out of their sheaves for Ruth. Shalaf. And Gideon went up by the way of the tent dwellers east of Nobah and Jokbeha. So the kings of Midian had apparently taken a more direct route up to Karkor, and Gideon went up the hill further to the east. Okay, Kedem. Here it is, Makedem. Further to the east, he went past a place where the nomads were living. Again, they're in tents and stuff up there. And this is territory that back in the day was under the king of Heshbon. And here it is. Gideon went up by the way of tent dwellers east of Nobah and Jokbeah. I haven't put those on the map. It's up in this area, and attacked the army, for the army had felt secure. So he's coming at them. It's an attack from the back. Okay, boom. Similar to what happened at Hai. Okay, you attack from behind. You attack from a direction that people don't expect. Everybody's kind of looking back this way for Gideon to come chasing after them. They really don't expect them to come up from this end. That was a very unexpected kind of attack. Okay. Ve'al, and he went up. Al is to go up. Also behind the word alia, going up. Ve'al, Gideon, derech. Okay, we do see a nice double segolate here. Also nice segolate right here. Mekedem. It isn't my intention to teach all the segolates, but here they are. Okay, derech, and take a look. The accenting, of course, is milad. Derech shakonim, of the ones who dwell. Ohalim, these are intense. Okay, ohalim. Here's a type of comments here about Ohalim. Mekedem, to the east. Le Nobah, this is Nobah, this town name here, a place name. Yog. Oh yeah, it's a commensative, close syllable here. Yog boach. Yog boach. Okay, Yog boach. The transliteration took this shiva, but it's an O. Yog boach. Boach. Yak, struck, yak is to smash up. Yak et hamachanim, to the camp. Hamachanim hayabeta. And the camp was, nice nice root here. This is, if you look it up in the dictionary, that's what you're going to see here. Third person root of haya, to be. And the camp was beta, was trusting, felt secure. Now, it's very interesting. Beta has much a sense of when you can trust something secure, you're good. The husband, the Baal, Bata, Bach, the husband of the virtuous woman trusts in her. Okay, Beta. So when the object of the person or the thing that you are trusting is worthy of the trust, it's a good thing. But it can also be very much having a false trust. In other words, you feel secure, you aren't. And this is most certainly the case here. Okay, Beta. They felt secure, they really weren't. Okay, because Gideon's jumping or chasing them from the backside. Boom, he clobbers them. Very much a very interesting master of the tactics of warfare. You can almost use this to teach how to carry out battles and so forth, and because it's use it in the war college of how you're going to do things on the battlefield. Now Zebah and Zalmunna fled, and he pursued them, and he captured the two kings of Midian, Zebah and Zalmunna. They keep repeating these guys because they were important, but they're trying to run for it, but no, they aren't going to really make it. They're captured, but they're going to come back and eventually will be executed for their crimes. But in the meantime, Gideon is pursuing them. So Nushu is to run. This is very much a reflexive word right here because of the sudik in the middle here, Yanushu, and they ran for Nush, to take off. Zebah Zalmunna, Yardefu, and then he chased. Okay, Yardefu. This is a singular here because it's basically Gideon, leading the charge. Okay, so the author's gone to a singular verb here, even though it's probably getting accompanied by a lot of other people to carry this out. Okay, Yardefu, Acharichem, after them. Yilkod, and he captured. Okay, Yilkod. We're going to see this verb again in a different context. Kind of an interesting thing that we're coming to here. Yilkod et Shnei Malche, and he captured the two kings, Midian of Midian, et Zeba et Zalmunna. I keep repeating these guys all. Waste of. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying it's a waste of ink, but yeah. They get a lot of press here, okay? Zeba et Zalmunna, ve'kol ha'machane harid. Okay, so you capture the leaders and the camp, the army, ha'machane. Machane is, the translated as army, but it's the campment, okay? Ha'machane harid. Incidentally, harid is to shake, to shudder, and so forth. In fact, one of the modern, well, not so modern, Jewish sects are called Haradim because they feel so righteous they're shaking. Okay, Haradim, Hehari, they shook. Even Boaz shakes when he wakes up on the threshing floor. Harid, Harid. Then Gideon, the son of Joash, returned from the battle by the ascent of Heres. Now he apparently takes another route back, a little more direct route heading on back. It's called an ascent, but of course he's descending at this point. So he's gone into the high country, he's defeated the kings, he's got the victories. He's bringing back the two kings as captives. Everybody else has been wiped out. So he's got evidence that now he has won the battle. Vayashav Gideon ben Yoash. Interestingly, when an important step, in other words, when you're going to affirm the authority or the place of somebody, you bring in a short clip of his genealogy, and that's what happened here. Okay, Ben Yoash. Okay, this is who this guy is. Okay, Vayashav Gideon ben Yoash min ha Milchama, from the battle. Okay, Milchama. This incidentally is got a chet in it. Okay, this of course is a noun, but there are verbal forms for it: to battle, to fight a war. But this is the noun. Hamilchama, from the battle. Milham al ale, Milham al ale. So this is the ascent. Okay, it starts with the base root of ayin lamet. You put a mem on it to make it a noun, and then this mi is from, and then from the ascent he haretz. Now this is an article, but when you attach it in front of a chet in this way, it's going to push up push down the vowel to it. It should have been a patah, but it is a sigol here. He aretz, okay? Heretz. Now this probably was a segolate, but of course it's gone up to it's still a segolate for the segol here, but this has gone up to a comets here. Heretz. Name place of this ascent that's about in here. He captured, we've seen the word capture used for the two kings, okay? Yilkod, and then he captured Na'ar, a young man. Often young men aren't really named. A young man goes to announce the death of Saul to David. A young man comes and says this, a young man says that, and so forth. It's in a sense just some young guy, just any young guy, okay, young man, which can be anywhere from 15 until he gets married. Who knows when, but or until he grows a beard. So a young man, okay, just a young guy. That's all it means. Just simply, just one young guy. Now this is kind of a unique thing that's happening here, and it's unique. We're talking about Succoth, which is belonged to one of the Transjordan tribes, Gad, I believe, at this point. And so these are Jewish people. You're meeting someone here, and apparently the young man was out, who knows what, walking around or but in a place where he could be captured. Boom. So Gideon captures this young man. Maybe it wasn't a lot of age difference between the two of them there, but now he sits him down, and I don't think Gideon was carrying a lot of, pergaments or scrolls or anything like that. Probably just had a rock or a flat piece of stone or pottery or something like that. Because the word is karat, katev, okay? To cut, to write. Okay. So what's surprising here, the young man is literate. He knows the names of 77 men. That's quite. If in my case, if you'd ask me, write down the 77 men that lead my city, I'd have 3 or 4 names and then I'd run out. But this young man knew them all, all the officials, all the elders of Succoth, and he was literate. This is an important thing here. For the gospel to go forward, there has to be people who can write it down, read it, and explain it to others. So literacy is an important step in the spreading the word of God, and we find it right here, which when you compare Egyptian cultures and Mesopotamian cultures, in those cultures, writing was simply that was part of the scribal clan or the scribal group, and so less than 2 or 3% of the people knew how to read or write. And in Egypt, you could sort of read it. Why? Because it was hieroglyphics, and it's kind of looking at cartoons when you're reading that kind of stuff. But most people couldn't read or write. That was just simply, you had to be a very specialized person to read or write. Now you just grab a young guy walking around outside where we're just away from the town. Boom, he gets captured. And Gideon sits down and says, okay, here it is. I'm giving you a stylus, and you're going to write down and cut down all of these names, 77 of them. And I'm pretty sure they carried that into the town and started the roll call. Okay, come forward. You're due for your whipping. So this is what happened to these men at Succoth. So he captured the young men of Succoth, questioned them, wrote down for him, and he wrote, that is the young man here, Nahar. Where does the young man go? Here it is, Nahar. This young man wrote down 77 names. Whoa, all 77 of these guys got themselves whipped with the briars and thorns of the desert. Lots of briars and thorns in the area. So, yeah. Lekod, he captured Nahar, a young man, Anshe, from the men of Succoth, of the men of New Succoth. Yeshalachem Yesh Lehu, and he questioned them. He pushed him. He looked at him in the face and said, "Okay, here's what it is. Okay, Yeshalehu, Yekot, Yakov, Yaktov, and he cut. Okay, Yaktov, he cut, wrote. Okay, cut. Alav, for him, et share. In other words, he just simply wrote it all out for Gideon. Okay, et share Sukkot, the name of the men of Sukkot. They at the Ziknehem, and the elders of them. It wasn't just the leaders or the real officials, but also even the old guys who should have known better, actually. We should have been understanding what Sukkot really meant. In other words, we're under protection of God, but they didn't feel like they were protected by God. Okay, so at Zeknechem Shevim Sheva. Okay, this is 70 and 7 ish men. Okay, 77 men. Quite a crowd of guys. If you line them all up and have to beat them with briars and thorns, it would be quite a scene. And he came to the men of Succoth, and he said, "Behold, Sheva and Zalmunna." Okay, here they are, standing right here, somewhat tied up, probably at that point. About whom you taunted me, saying, "Are the hands of Zeva and Zalmunna already in your hand, that we should give bread to your men who are exhausted?" He's just basically, they hear what the Gideon. This is the antecedent of this he. Gideon is just repeating the same words that the guys at Succoth had said in the first place. Okay, are the hands of Zeba and Zalmunna ready in your hand that we should give bread to your men who are exhausted? Vayavo al Anshe Succoth came to the men of Succoth. Vayomer, he said, Hine, hey, look at this. Hine is hands up, look at there. Zeba and Zalmunna, Asher he raftem, in which you were taunting. Okay, you were taunting them. Ito with me. Okay, you were placing them as a taunt to me. Okay, he. I think it looks like a causative people here. Okay, he should look it up. Looks like it. He raftem. You were taunting them to me. Oti. Lemor saying. Hakaf, the hand again here, the palm of the hand. Hakaf Zeva of Zeva and Zalmunna. Ata, now, okay. Be Yadecha, in your hand. Ki niten lanshecha ha Ephraim lacham, okay, that I would give, that you should give, that we should give. Niten, this is to give. Lanshe, to the men, to your men. Ha Ephraim, the ones who are exhausted, would give to these exhausted men. Lacham, okay, again. Lechem, a straight segel, it would be two segos right here, but now we have a comments here because of the silu. Okay? Lachem, it is a bread because of the chet. The chet tells you right away this is bread rather than them. He took the elders of the city and he took thorns of the wilderness and briars and with them he taught the men of Succoth. V'yakach et zignei ha'ir et koseh, okay. Hamidbar ve'et barkonim, and the briars, thorns and briars. Koseh. This pointed the previous example of how the kof kind of points how there's a sharp point there. Take the point of the thorn right here. This is what you're going to get poked with. Okay. Ve'et koseh. Hamidbar of the desert. Ve'et barkonim. Yoda behem et anshe Succoth, and he taught them. Okay, this was an instrument of teaching. They had to learn a lesson. And just think, 77 guys from there on, some of them still with scars on their back because of what had happened to them, pointing it out. Hey, look at what Gideon did. Pow, you know. The testimony went, as long as these guys lived, they had something to talk about. I find it interesting in that there are two ways of saying the word taught. This is actually based on yada, to make known, okay? To make known to them. In other words, pointed out to them, yada. The other word for lamad is to teach, but to teach via the goad, the stick that you'd use for poking cattle. To me, personally, it seemed, hey, that would be an appropriate use of the word to teach somebody. You just teach them with poking them with a briar. But it was a little bit softer word here, yoda. In other words, make it known to them. Something they really should have known, but make it known to them. It does tell us something a little bit, that sometimes when we have done something wrong and we suffer for it, the Lord makes it known to us by giving us, even the Apostle Paul had a thorn in the flesh. And he always kept wondering why this was happened, but he understood that the Lord was teaching him something. So sometimes you have to live with a thorn in the flesh. And this is what happened most certainly to the people of Succoth. The men had 77 of them suffered a thorn in the flesh, suffered the punishment they really did deserve from Gideon. And it was a little bit tougher for the men of Penuel. We hear of the 77 over in Succoth over here, that they had received punishment. They had received an education. They learned something from the experience. The men in Penuel, it went down much harder on them because he just up and killed those guys. Seems a little bit more drastic, but maybe he didn't need the testimony from these guys later. In other words, what happened to them was their death. And in a sense, so many people had already been killed of the Midianites that adding some more to the list for Gideon wasn't that I'd say maybe not that hard. They had Migdal and the tower of Migdal, Penuel of the tower of Penuel, Natash. He tossed it down. Natash. Yeah, Natash. Natash. Tash. Toss it down. Smash it down. Yaharog, and he killed it Anshe Ha'ir. He killed the men of that city. And at that point, then he returns and does eventually execute the two kings, but all of their jewelry becomes a downfall to Gideon. The life of Gideon, when he was faithful to the Lord, things went well. When he wasn't, wow, things did fall apart, and especially with his son and so forth. So, yeah, when you're faithful to the Lord fights your battles. When you're not, you're going to run into trouble. So, it's an interesting story, lots of interesting spots to look at, and we can learn from it. I'm not saying in any way the Bible tells us not to take revenge. The revenge belongs to the Lord, but most certainly do learn from this event that the Lord was with Gideon as he fought this battle. Our battles can only go forward when the Lord fights them for us. May God bless and may God strengthen you in this day. Until next time.